We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 413. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself, the one and only Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how's your evening going, sir?
My evening is going very well. It has been very busy, but I have been making time to celebrate my Intercontinental Champion Gunther's 245 title reign. I'm very happy for that. I hope he breaks the record. 209 days left to go. Let's go, champ.
I hope he does.
You can defeat Matt Cat Moss with great ease, and I hope you can knock Honky Tonk Man off that pedestal as the one bad thing that's still left, because he may have had a lengthy title reign. It's still the fact that he got his last title reign got completely squashed by Ultimate Warrior.
Hey, one can only hope, but until we get to that point, also joining us this week, the last but certainly not least, our current reigning Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion and Beefcase in the Bank, Scholars in the Bank Beefcase holder. You know him, you love him. He is Scholar Charlie. Scholar Charlie, everything is looking golden over by you.
I'm having everything's coming up Millhouse. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Simpsons
References.
Simpsons.
Yes.
Simpsons.
Because you know Simpsons.
Because you know. Exact. Simpsons.
Well, I'll tell you what. As much as we love to joke around here, there's a lot to talk about this week in professional wrestling, including a bit more of a serious topic that we felt compelled to discuss and touch upon a little bit in a little segment we like to call Backstage News.
That's it. We will go ahead and peek behind that curtain as we always do and realize, oh my God, Roman watches TV. So he knows what's going on backstage. He knows what's going on. He knows what's going on during the show. Our segment of Backstage
News.
Jay's gonna be in trouble.
Man.
No, man. He's just gonna be. There's nothing mad about that. He's gonna be in deep shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, brother. But yes. Unfortunately, we did get a little bit of sad news this week as we got word that Jerry Lawler apparently suffered a stroke earlier in the week. Thankfully, he is fine. He's still in the hospital. There is some limited.
No, he's out of ICU.
He's out of ICU. Okay. Yes, he's out of ICU, still in the hospital.
Oh, he's still in the hospital.
Last I heard, he was he was limited in his verbal capacity, and he was most likely gonna have to go to rehab to get some of his faculties back. But things are looking up. As scary as it was, it's looking like the King is gonna recover soon.
The King is still reigning.
Absolutely.
Reigning in the puppies.
Someone actually made that joke where what if as soon as he gets back on TV, the first thing he says is puppies. The King, are you doing okay? How are you feeling? Puppies. Oh, that King. Wompa womp
that's our Jerry Lawler.
Ba-da-ba.
Jerry, how you feeling, man? Puppies. Oh yeah, he's perfectly fine.
He's fine. Put him on TV next week. He's gonna be just fine.
Come on, guys. We could use puppies.
I'll tell you what. We were even talking about this earlier before we started recording tonight. There's, thankfully, in a contrast to what we've been seeing over the past few years, there's also a number of figures like Jerry Lawler, like Ric Flair, who have endured all this crap, all these health scares, all these other instances, but thankfully they're still with us. And in a weird, morbid kind of way, I can't help but be happy about that one.
They're still
Yeah.
constantly kicking out at 2 in the match they call life.
I went
Apparently-
back after hearing the news. I went back and watched Lawler's documentary yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one of the good ones.
Yeah, we've
There's
got
another
good,
one I have to see.
We've got good documentaries. We've got for both men. I gotta say, is there anyone else that really got this run of just like they can't be stopped? The only other name that springs to mind is Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I know he had
Yeah.
his share of health scares, but he's still kicking and still looks like he's doing great.
Hell, he's going
would-
on the Jericho cruise. He's having a blast.
I saw that. Yeah.
I think the only other name that popped into my mind is just thinking, man is still kicking it, yet he's just happily retired is Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Yeah, except I feel like Terry Funk of all people has actually aged somewhat gracefully. He hasn't had like too many horrible health scares outside of
Just whatever
maybe
he's
a
done in
hip
his career.
replacement.
Just everything he's done in his career. It's just surprising that there hasn't been any like real health scares like this. He's just, again,
It's all maintenance.
happily enjoying retirement. Having a couple of meetups with Mick Foley. It's because of course they do. They love those two guys love each other.
Chilling in a ranch in Amarillo, Texas, enjoying the nice weather and seeing old friends all the time.
Well, hilariously enough, you can say they're the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn of their time.
and
Yeah.
they're still rolling in t-shirt money.
Exactly.
I'm checking how old Terry Funk is.
He's old enough to party.
Just watch, he'll be 50 and he'll just look like he's 97.
No, he's 78.
Okay.
He's gonna be 50. He look like he's in his 90s.
Oh boy. I think he's just gonna
good for him.
reach. He's gonna be like a Sean Connery type, where after a certain while he just stops aging.
Yeah.
He's all his hairs are just all white now, and that's it. That's as low as he gets. But either way, in all seriousness, Jerry, Lawler, King, we're really pulling for you. You're in our thoughts and prayers for real. So please get well soon. We hope you see ranting about puppies very, very soon. But in the meantime, we also have the entire rest of the world of professional wrestling to talk about. In particular, latest things on Monday Night Raw, including arguably the promo of the week between Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman. This flat out was just a masterclass.
Yeah. It was
I don't
fantastic.
really know what else more I can add on to the things that have been said about how amazing this promo was, except just, yeah, it's one of those things where it's, once again, I looked back before the video packages started coming up of his return to the Royal Rumble. And I just kept arguing, like, everyone's saying he's going to come back and win the Royal Rumble and dethrone Roman Reigns to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Huzzah. And my response was just, at this point, with everything that was going on in the current product, I just don't see how that can really work. Especially when I was thinking they weren't going to do video packages to build up his return. He was just going to show up without any word, even though everybody knew it was going to happen. But it was the video packages that, again, sold me on. Now I'm like, yep, he's going to win the Rumble. He's going to win the top. He's most likely going to win bring that title home to the family, to the Rhodes family, some people who haven't won that championship. But when it comes to the promo, it is a very great stepping stone. So it's like, okay, we still have Sami on SmackDown, but let us now let's get this storyline started for WrestleMania. And really, it was a very perfect stepping stone to start this feud, especially now that he first comes in talking to Paul Heyman, and it's just gradual steps to, it's basically Mortal Kombat ladder, climbing the ranks to get to Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
tell you what. One thing I kept hearing all the more, and we'll talk about this briefly after this when we talk about what happened on SmackDown. But the one question I kept hearing over and over and over again and seeing myself is, given how hot Sami Zayn is right now, how do you put the heat from Sami Zayn to what obviously is going to be your main event for WrestleMania between Cody and Roman? And I think this was as close to an answer as we're going to get. The object is,
And it was
you
a very good
don't,
one.
you just have the someone who is very well received and with someone who has known for a bit been busting their asses, and you just pair them up with one of the best talkers in the history of wrestling in Paul Heyman. Just let them sell this thing, and when it comes to being an underhanded scumbag, you don't get much better than Paul Heyman.
yeah.
And I'm not hearing any dissenting voices here. I mean, I you could definitely see the argument that the promo was just that strong. And really, it wasn't until this point I was like, okay, now I'm confident that all people involved can make this work. Last week I was more speculating, but now is where I was proven right. And yeah, now we can move ahead with whatever they got. And especially when Cody actually mentioned Sami Zayn by name and really just gave him the old tip of the cap. In hindsight, I didn't call this at the time, but in hindsight, that's probably the wisest thing Cody could have ever done. Because if anyone's gonna get that anticipation, Cody's still gotta be on the same side as Sami on this one.
The only thing I really disagreed with you is when you say they don't. Like, how do they go around the popularity of Sami Zayn if they don't? Yet you kind of corrected yourself, because they do. They don't ignore the popularity of Sami Zayn. They have Cody acknowledged, hey, the main event of WrestleMania could, like, if Sami wins, then yeah, it's me versus Sami, and Sami is a great opponent. If it was a Vince McMahon story being told about this, they would have just completely had these storylines separate. They wouldn't even, no pun intended, acknowledge it. They wouldn't have had Cody acknowledge the potential of Sami Zayn. It's just, oh yeah, this is going to be Roman versus Cody. Sami is just a bump in the road. He doesn't matter. But with how Vince McMahon, how Triple H is running the show, he does acknowledge, hey, it could possibly be Cody versus Sami, and Cody knows the type of person Sami is, and he would look forward to wrestling him for the title.
And that's what I was alluding to.
We all know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, we all know it. Even if you wish something else, like even if you wish that Sami was in the main event of WrestleMania, did beat Roman for the title, was in that position, it's a lot more elegant this time than what we seem to have gotten in the Vince McMahon creative era, where it's a lot more elegant, where they're not just like ignoring it or blasting on through like a bull in a china shop. They're actually they're handling it elegantly. And
as long as they don't go copy and paste from Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30, I'm happy.
They're not going to. What happened on this episode of SmackDown, which we'll most likely talk about later, it is very clear what the direction is. The road to WrestleMania is clear as day, and honestly, yeah, they're telling it very well, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, and since we were sort of dancing around it before, let's get right into it. Earlier this evening, when we're recording this, early on SmackDown, we got a glimpse of what's next for Sami Zayn. We got the return of Jey Uso on SmackDown. Some things still hesitant, still tentative. They were able to just barely retain their tag titles against Braun Strowman and Ricochet. And now there's still some ambiguity as far as, okay, Jay will show up, but when the rubber meets the road, what side is he going to side with? Sami? Is he going to side with his brother? Is he going to side with Roman? Where do his loyalties truly lie? I think we all know where this might be going, at least if certain leaks are to be believed, but the execution is still leaving that little bit of lingering doubt, which is more than enough for me, and I love it.
Oh yeah, I absolutely, I love it as well. And at this, as you were saying, it is going to be a very difficult road that they're going for, at least when it comes to Sami and Jay. I mean, it does look like they are setting their sights for the tag team title match with Sami and KO versus the Usos. But with now how things ended up on SmackDown, it is just, there's just so much depth to it. It's not just, oh, Sami got kicked out, Jay just joins back up with the bloodline. But essentially, Daniel Garcia with Jericho Appreciation Society.
Okay.
How it's just, okay, it looks like he's possibly going to turn, and then all of a sudden, nope. I think they're going to add more. They're going to give more of a reason, more of a story, at least a better told story. He's really getting these babyface pop reactions. These, well, you just heard it tonight. The second he showed up to be in the SmackDown Tag Team title match, he got such a big babyface pop, and now, like, with him, with Sami Zayn acknowledging him, with them being good. And as I said earlier, and as I said in the intro, Roman watches SmackDown. He saw Sami and Jay interact. So what is that? Where is this going to lead? Like, what is going to happen?
Well,
with
I'll
this
tell you
storyline?
what, I got an idea. And
Shoot.
especially where, again, tentative spoilers, have been some speculation about where this could possibly lead and what the final layout is going to be for some matches at WrestleMania. So I'm actually going to phrase this in the format of a scholar's quick talk question. First, hear this pitch. Elimination Chamber. Yes, we know that the Usos are meant to stay at home. They're not going to be there. But at Elimination Chamber, what if Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, the Usos, or Solo?
Jimmy can't go to Elimination Chamber.
I know. Hear me.
Okay.
What if it's just Jay?
Okay.
Jay interferes, sides with Roman, costs Sami the match, and ultimately leading up to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos for the tag straps. Here's my question. Given what I just outlined to you, do you think that's going to be enough to stop people from rooting for Sami Zayn unequivocally so that Cody can get the reaction that they're looking for? Does that make sense?
People are still gonna root for
It's
Zayn.
not going to be enough. Okay. What about you, Tark? What do you think? Would this work?
I feel like I missed something. Can you repeat the question?
No.
How dare you, sir?
I'm just kidding.
Fine, I'm out then.
Okay. Okay.
No!
Brief version. At Elimination Chamber, during Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, either if Jimmy can't enter Canada, Jey Uso interferes, and ultimately it leads up to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the tag titles at WrestleMania. In your view, would that be enough to put the focus off, take the heat off of everyone clamoring for a Sami Zayn title reign? Would that work in your mind?
Like people would still like, you're asking if people would still be like, no, we want Sammy in the title picture, in the world
like
title picture.
Sammy in the title picture or nothing. Would that be satisfying to the Sami Zayn super fans right now, do you think?
Oh, for the
Or-
super fans, absolutely not.
Hmm.
Oh, for the super fans, absolutely not. I'm sure there's always gonna be those groups of fans they'll essentially be like Daniel Bryan or bust. There's gonna be those fans that are just gonna be, I want Sammy in the title picture in the title match at Mania because he's earned it, and there is nothing that they can do to have me feel differently.
Yeah.
The people are just gonna have to deal with it
The
because
hijack.
that's gonna be the case. And at this, I don't think they're gonna hijack. I think we've gone past the point of hijacking. They're just going to be they're going to just be that vocal crowd on social media.
Okay.
You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it from the live audience. Those are going to just be more accepting of what we're presented, because one thing, it'll most likely be a well-told story to get there compared to it's just, oh yeah, this is just happening. It's not just, oh, people want Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, but we're also just WWE is just going to throw in Charlotte Flair because that's what they want, and we don't care what they say. It's not going to be like that. Like, even though I would argue Charlotte, there is enough story for Charlotte to be put in that, but that's just me. Woo.
Okay.
I feel like at this point, with how the story is being told, it is going to lead to that triple threat. It's going to lead to that tag team title match. But I think the one big factor here is Elimination Chamber and how it's going to lead to it. And from what it's shown on SmackDown, to me, it looks more like Jay's going to stay with the bloodline not because he wants to, but because he has to. It's like an offer he can't refuse type of ordeal. Like the consequences of him fist bumping Sami Zayn is going to lead to Jay initially attacking Sami, not because what he did, it's because Roman twisted his arm, and just maybe at the cost of like, if I don't do this, something bad is probably going to happen with Jimmy. So, similar to how their storyline was back when the bloodline first started. Jay was in the Hell in the Cell match, and Jimmy had to throw the towel in for him so Roman can stop destroying him. It's essentially, it's going to go back full circle with that, because as much as like, oh yeah, we're still going to get the tag title match, but it's still the one thing that the Sammy and KO are going to have against the Usos is just that family dynamic that's going to basically cost them the match, because there's just so much bloodline family drama. And it's just going to be the bloodline's downfall at WrestleMania.
Very interesting. Well, I honestly, even now, I still love what we've got cooking through this. I look forward to what we're going to be seeing develop just next week at Elimination Chamber. Just kind of threw me off that it's that soon. But really, this is not the last big title change controversy that we've got of the week. We both seem to agree before this show got on the air that it seems definitely like the Guns defeating the Acclaim for the AEW Tag Team titles is by and large the big news story of the wrestling world this week. Is that fair to say?
It's an
definitely the
AEW
most
show that
controversial.
I actually watched, so it was good.
it's definitely the most controversial
Yeah.
topic because the amount of hate, the fact that not only the Gun Club or Ass Boys, whatever, I know they don't call themselves that, but still, that's what everyone calls them. The Ass Boys tag title win over the Acclaimed was just so it's so heavily criticized. It's not just heel heat. It's, we don't like this heat. This is not a good choice heat. We don't think the Gun Sons are ready to be tag team champions, even though, as Ollie Davis from Wrestle Talk points it, if you look at this on paper, the entire storyline of the Acclaimed versus the Guns, it's on paper, it should work. It's just the execution and just the emotion that they put into it, that it just doesn't work, because most don't feel that the Gun Sons are ready to have those tag titles when they have other tag teams that could benefit more being tag champions, the Acclaim included.
Okay, this, I believe, is where I personally diverge from that sentiment, because if you really look at it right now, the Acclaimed aren't really benefiting from the tag titles. They're one of those teams and champions who don't really benefit from it because they've already gotten that, acclaim from just busting their ass and just being that good. The tag titles are something they have because they earned them. They're like a signifier of what we already know to be there. However, if you look back, there are champions, even outside of any tag division, who are just the opposite, where they're damn good, they have got a lot of qualities, but really putting them in the spotlight and giving them the titles is the thing that takes them up to the next level. It gives them that little bit of notoriety, a little bit of attention that allows them to break out of whatever other division that they're in, to really solidify themselves as big main event stars and really take them up to the next level. And I believe that's what the Guns are at right now. They're not the people who are just ready for the throne and are just accepting what's already theirs. They're the kind of people who will get on that throne, and the throne is the thing that takes them up to the next level. What do we all think of that?
That's
fair. I think that's what they were going. I think that's the whole point of what they've been doing. But that's just people just is the whole idea of them. It's like, oh, when it comes to the tag titles, when it comes to titles in AEW period, they're just, it's like, oh, they get it because they've earned it for being the best in that business. But in my personal opinion, I honestly, so ever since the not Dr. Shelby therapy session, I actually was just sold. I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of sold on this feud because, well, one thing, the Trios Championship kind of took away most of the tag teams. And for what they have currently in the tag division, these two teams are kind of the top of that division. I mean, well, FTR are on hiatus, so they're not. We're not going to see them anytime soon. And when it comes to the other tag teams, they're kind of the ones that show up on like Rampage or Dark. But it's not the end of the world. The Acclaimed and the Gun Club are the two top names of the tag division right now. And it just makes sense that this feud will just keep going and adding more personal drama, especially with Billy Gunn being involved with both sides. So I personally, I honestly don't mind. Let them have it. I mean, we may not like it, or at least the most of the IWC may not like it, but they're just gonna have to deal with it. Who knows how long these guys are gonna even have these tag titles? Are they gonna lose it?
They could.
Are they gonna
easily
lose
be
it?
Transitional.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't think this hurts the Acclaimed at all.
No. They
So
got daddy ass. They have their shtick.
I think they've now reached the point where, like, I won't say they don't need the tag titles, because who I can, like, if you're very well over enough, you should win gold. But I mean, they're still technically in the tag title feud. Yeah, they lost the belts, but it'll just be even more sweet to see them win it again.
Oh yeah,
So we can get an FTR tag title match.
Yeah, I am way of the
Eventually.
opinion that it was more of just how shocking it was to see the Guns, who, again, to be fair, they did sort of go on a bit of a losing streak there for a while. And the Acclaimed are easily one of the most over acts in not just AEW, but all of wrestling at this point, minus a couple notable exceptions. So I think everyone right now just seems to be reeling from the shock and surprise of it all, when I feel like not as many people have really looked at it from a more objective perspective and saw that, yeah, this story is nowhere near over. Not at all just yet.
I really don't have any more to add to that, really.
No.
All right,
Yeah, you
we've
pretty much
got
said,
we've got a
said it clear.
consensus. Hey, I'll take it.
At this point, it's just now more just internet wrestling community just being more crybaby-ish, because it's like, oh, my guys aren't winning. It's essentially the Eddie Kingston argument all over again.
IWC drama.
Yeah, but then again, there's always going to be naysayers from the and even above the other rank and file. There's always going to be those who just react without thinking, and those who think before they react. And if you think before you react, well, hey, that's why we're here. That's what makes us scholars of wrestling. But then again, you already knew that. But either way, we want to hear from you all across the internet, no matter what you think. What did you make of this this title change between the Guns? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Does it have potential, or is it just a really bad move? No matter what you think, let's keep this conversation going. So leave us a comment all across the internet, wherever you find us. Let us know what you think. And if you want to join the conversation specifically, why not check us out on Twitter? Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me realizing, wow, this has been a very tag team heavy episode on the Avatar.
And Scholar Charlie, Champ, where can they find you?
You could reach me not worrying about anyone cashing in their briefcase in the bank or coming after my world title. Rooting for my Birds this weekend. Got the
Go Birds.
Too. At the Charlie M.
And you can find me at I'm Robbie Rage. And for all of these social links and more, you can check us out in our link tree. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling for our relevant socials, our shop, and the latest episodes.
Our merch.
Check us all out on all this and more at our link tree. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling. Just take a look at the link in the description below. And with that, that's all. Yep, there it is. And with that, we are out of here.
Oh, would you look at that?
Thank you all for joining us this week for the Scholars of Wrestling. We're always grateful for you joining us this week and every week. But you already knew that because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you all next week for predictions for the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.